Hello and welcome back to the Argyle Financial Controller Forum. My name is Brittany Sullivan with Argyle, and it's great to have everyone joining us today. A couple of notes before I turn things over to our esteemed speaker. First, a quick reminder to stop by our sponsors' virtual booths at any time during today's event and for the following week. Our partners are committed to providing you with valuable content and a great overall experience. At any time during today's event, you can visit their virtual booths from the main agenda page, which includes complimentary materials, information, and meet and greet opportunities. To ask questions throughout the session, simply type into the Q&A chat, and we will address your questions at the end of the session. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce our speaker, Michelle Stalick, Vice President, Corporate Controller at Blackline. We're excited to have Michelle with us for a thought leadership titled How Modern Accounting Builds Resilience and Agility. Welcome, Michelle, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Brittany. I appreciate you having me. Hi, everyone. As Brittany mentioned, I'm Michelle Stalick, the VP and Corporate Controller at Blackline. I spent 5 years in public accounting and have spent the past 20 years working in industry for technology companies, with the last 6 years at Blackline. At Blackline, I'm responsible for the accounting, SEC reporting, and financial systems teams, which gives me a unique opportunity to talk to you about building resilience with modern accounting. And so moving on to the agenda, here to talk today about how modern accounting builds resiliency and agility and empowers F&A teams to focus on what matters most. We'll talk about top challenges that are facing teams, how to build the resiliency and agility amidst disruption. And as Brittany mentioned, we'll have Q&A at the end of the session. We're facing unprecedented times and change. That change comes from evolving business models, including new complexities and reporting requirements, while trying to balance increasing demands on F&A functions. We're seeing rising labor costs. Unemployment is low, labor costs are rising, and add to that, recent articles have talked about how fewer people are becoming accountants. So we have to think about the next generation of accountants and how we'll continue to build our teams. Our roles are expanding. There are new business partnerships and other new priorities that require a shift from the standard general governance roles that we've had to more strategic roles. We're facing unprecedented change, while at the same time, manual work is keeping us from doing the strategic work. 94% of accounting and IT teams agree that time spent on accounting, compliance, and financial close gets in the way of strategic work. But at the same time, 99% of CFOs agree that it's important to have real-time processes and operations in place to help better inform business decisions. So what do we do about this? How do we ensure that we're able to provide better insights while most of our time is spent on compliance? The value that finance and accounting teams bring to their organizations is largely dependent on what they spend their time doing. Our expertise is needed to support the strategic initiatives of our organizations. Our roles are evolving, and we need to enhance capacity to better align on those initiatives. We need to continue to manage risk and compliance with a focus on optimizing business processes to ensure we're able to align to the corporate strategy and strategic initiatives. If your teams are reliant on manual processes, the financial close, managing working capital, audits, and other risk and compliance responsibilities, those require significant capacity. But we're being called upon to help identify and execute on transformational activities, such as opportunities for automation and using data and analytics to make more agile business decisions. So we have increasing responsibility in supporting the company's strategic objectives like M&A, and those require active accounting input. Add to that, we are facing a growing list of leadership priorities. The priorities will be different for every business, but there are some common strategic priorities. The list here represents some of the topics that keep F&A leaders up at night. They want to focus on these areas, but can't find the time or the resources to address the priorities if their capacity is full with traditional manual accounting close. The traditional manual accounting is chaos. And worse yet, it's chaos on a deadline. There are a lot of moving parts among people, technology, processes, and deadlines must be met for internal and external reporting requirements. So it often feels like there isn't enough time in the day to get through all of the demands. KPMG issued a white paper discussing the role of the CAO and noted that by taking on new responsibility through these extraordinary times and adapting quickly to the new reality, CAOs are helping to position their companies to survive and grow when the economy recovers. So what do we need to do to respond to and meet these challenges? Finance accounting transformation builds that resiliency and the agility. The best leaders and companies are ambidextrous. We're prudent about managing the downside while also aggressively pursuing the upside. We need to optimize our systems and processes. We need to focus on the adoption of additional use cases and take advantage of available enhancements. All of this to ensure that we accelerate our journey to the next level of supporting strategic initiatives. I was chatting with a former Blackline colleague last week about implementing systems and processes to support growth. He asked me whether my team and I still set out our automation roadmap at the beginning of the year with our goals for system enhancements, as well as the adoption and implementation of new products and systems. This was something that in his new role of growing an early stage company really stuck with him. And I'm pleased to say that we do update our automation roadmap on a regular basis. And at the beginning of the year, we agree on our goals for additional automation for the year ahead. In fact, increased automation and enhanced use of Blackline is a core goal for every member of our accounting team every single year. And over the past 6 years that I've been with Blackline, we have upgraded and enhanced, or in some cases replaced every single financial system that we use. We've also added additional tools where we see the benefit for our various teams. We cannot continue with traditional manual accounting while balancing the current demands placed on accounting teams. It's simply not sustainable, and it can cause harm to the organization and ultimately impact the bottom line. It's critical to avoid these repetitive finance and accounting processes on a manual basis in order to avoid wasted time, excess cost, unnecessary risk, employee turnover, and limited agility. We need to evolve and adopt automation in order to ensure we can move away from the traditional manual flows and processes to ensure employees are engaged and to encourage the next generation of accountants to join our teams. Putting accounting and finance first is truly a no regrets approach. By focusing on the quality of data and standardized and unifying data models, it sets the foundation for everything else that follows. Having accurate, complete, and timely data allows for optimized and efficient actual results, which in turn enables continuous planning and predictive insights and provides the basis for better, more educated, real-time decisions. So where can Blackline help? Blackline seamlessly integrates systems and processes to facilitate end-to-end accounting automation on a single platform to free up time and capacity of the accounting team to focus on more strategic objectives. The Blackline Financial Operations Management Platform integrates, orchestrates, and automates end-to-end accounting processes. Blackline helps build resiliency and agility. The adoption and the scope of implementation is manageable. Cloud-based solutions allow organizations to be nimbler by limiting the dependency on IT and other departments. Blackline also has rapid time to value. The fast deployment and adoption creates the foundation and momentum for additional use cases to be built on in the future. A case study by Nucleus Research showed that the average investment in Blackline returns $2.77 per dollar invested on average and has a less than 1 year payback period. Blackline provides timely insights. Teams can focus on open items and discrepancies and are able to identify trends in real time, which allows for the more agile decision-making. These benefits lead to more capacity for accounting professionals to focus on broader transformation and strategic initiatives and enhances working capital optimization by reducing the manual work and accelerating insights into collections. Modernizing finance and accounting processes is no regrets work. Our financial close management solution unifies your data and processes and automates spreadsheet-heavy, error-prone work. At my last company, I had 2 controllers that reported to me, and each month after closing the books, I would walk by their offices and see 5-inch binders on each of their desks filled with account reconciliations and supporting work papers. And every month I thought to myself, that has to be such dreaded work, albeit necessary, but flipping page by page through those binders. And I was so pleased that I had them to help me with that. I can truly say that at Blackline, our accounting leaders are able to use Blackline to review the account reconciliations in a fraction of the time that it would take if those reconciliations existed in binders or even an Excel-based spreadsheet saved on a shared drive. We use task management to manage recurring and routine tasks, ones that recur every month, but also ones that recur quarterly or annually or off schedule. We also tie our SOX controls to task management. All of our SOX controls are documented in task management, and they are managed there to ensure that we execute them timely, but it also provides access and visibility to our internal and external auditors, which reduces the number of data requests coming to our accounting team, allowing us to free up more time and focus on more strategic work. We also continue to expand our use of transaction matching, and this year we'll be implementing Blackline Accounting Studio and Financial Reporting Analytics to further support our focus and growth on transformation, with the ultimate goal of freeing up valuable time across our team to provide more rewarding work and better insights to the business. Our collections team is using Blackline Cash Application, which has resulted in 20 hours of time saved each and every month. I want to close by highlighting the results of various case studies performed related to the Blackline experience. Our customers have reported a 70% reduction in days to close their books. In addition, they've spent 50% less time on manual and unfulfilling work. Teams are able to scale with 2.6 times more work performed without the need for new or additional headcount. Customers using our intercompany financial management tool have seen a 96% decrease in intercompany imbalances. And as previously noted, customers have experienced a $2.77 return for every dollar invested in Blackline technologies. The labor market is tight, and it's challenging to find good people for our teams. But using best-in-class software like Blackline helps to attract and retain talent because it changes how accounting professionals work. Thank you for your time, and happy to take questions.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Michelle, for such an insightful presentation. As a reminder, audience members can still enter questions. We had quite a few come through, so we'll go ahead and review some.
Great, thank you.
Of course, this first question asks, what do you consider modern accounting?
So it's a great question. It's a very broad answer, but really modern accounting is being able to provide those insights on a more timely basis. And in order to do that, it's using technology and tools across the board in every single group, every team, getting them to use tools that reduce the manual work and allow you to step back, see trends, and gain insight from the data.
Perfect, thank you. And to what degree should modern accounting be automated?
Ideally, there should be a significant focus on automation. So you want to have the proper controls in place, right? Those are critical to it. But where you can automate and reduce manual work, reduce working in spreadsheets, you will absolutely see the benefits, reap the benefits, and have cleaner accounting. So I highly recommend to automate wherever you can to solve problems that take significant amount of time.
Great, thank you. And this next question asks, how do you measure resilience and agility?
So there's not, I wouldn't say that there's, for us at Blackline, there isn't a specific measure on the resiliency and the agility, but what we do track, we track our accounting metrics each month. So we track our time to close, we track time to produce our SEC reporting, things like that. So it's what are we able to save? I mentioned during the presentation, we were able to save 20 hours per month in cash application. Those are the types of things within each of the individual teams, the metrics, the insight to data, the ability to provide answers and provide guidance to our finance team, our CFO, to the business leaders. That's how we measure our successes and our resiliency.
Excellent. Thank you, Michelle. And this next question asks, who owns these automations? Would it be accounting or IT?
It can be both or either. So for Blackline, we're very fortunate. We have a financial systems team, as I mentioned. That team reports directly to me. So we are extremely fortunate to have that financial systems team that is focused entirely on our systems. But we also have a great enterprise applications team that supports us, focuses on broader systems that touch more than just accounting. So it can sit in either place, and it's certainly a benefit if you have a financial systems team within accounting to support your specific needs.
Great. And is there any best practice document related to modern accounting?
There are lots of white papers out there. I could certainly work on pulling that list together, but definitely white papers written by Blackline, by some of the big four, the consulting companies. So there are many out there.
Great. And this next question kind of switches gears a little bit. If you can speak to it, how are accounting teams preparing for a potential economic downturn?
Sure. So, part of that is really focusing on what you can do, being able to do more with less. And what I mean by that is being able to take on the additional responsibilities that I talked about in the presentation, that list of priorities that I showed, while focusing on the automation so that you don't need to grow your headcount. So you saw that one of the statistics on one of the case studies around Blackline was a 2.6% increase in the amount of work that was able to be done. So it really is around focusing on the automation to streamline processes, streamline what you need from your teams, and give them the ability to focus on the more important, more strategic work.
Perfect. Thank you. And what role does FP&A and scenario planning play in making better predictions for the future?
They play a huge part. So we at Blackline, many other companies, we're partnered very closely with our finance team. We work with them throughout every single month throughout the year to make sure that we're talking about everything, significant trends, what we're seeing. We debrief after every single close to make sure that we understand what was in the forecast, how we performed relative to that. So the connection between accounting and finance is so critical to that business decision making, and giving our finance team the ability to forecast real time, update real time. So it really is a very important relationship that needs to be fostered.
Great, thank you. And obviously talent is huge. Can you speak to how F&A teams are finding, hiring, retaining new talent, especially when it's so good talent is so hard to come by?
It's definitely a challenge. So it's, as I mentioned, being able to sell yourself to candidates is tremendously important. So it's all things, it's culture, it is the work that they'll be doing. It's being able to offer tools like Blackline and other system automations to make their work more fulfilling so that they can really dig in and learn, right? It's this whole idea of fostering this new generation of accountants and making sure that we're passing down to them the important stuff, not the manual tedious work, but here's tools to do your job, and here's what we're looking for you to get out of it and what we need to get out of it. So it really is about attracting candidates and encouraging them to join when you can provide those types of tools.
Great. And kind of following up to like the talent topic, is there ever reluctance from employees when, finance teams are trying to implement new technologies or or transformation initiatives?
Absolutely. So accountants are, unfortunately, we're known for not always embracing change. But what I would say to you is, I encourage you to embrace the change and go out there and explore what you can do, what you can find to help make your job more efficient. So it is scary, it's change, but what you get, the reward that you get from taking on that challenge, first of all, learning from the challenge, learning from the process of going through implementations, you take all of that and you add to your list of skills and your experiences. But then following that implementation, you should always be looking for enhancements and upgrades that can be made. But it's getting to the core of that data and understanding that data that your tool has helped you to compile. And that's incredibly important. So yes, it's scary, but I encourage everybody to jump in and make it work for you.
Perfect. Thank you. And it looks like we have one last question. I think it's a good question to kind of close out with. Can you make any predictions as to what the biggest challenges may be for the remainder of the year?
Certainly, well, if we're talking broader themes, the macroeconomic is definitely, there's headwinds ahead of us. So that is part of it. But I think it's for every team, it's making sure that you're getting ahead, that you are focused on those strategic initiatives. Because as if we think back to the slide from KPMG talking about the CAO rising and really trying to focus in on getting through any of the macroeconomic and other headwinds, but making sure that we're ready for when that lifts and to get ourselves ahead. So it's buckling down, it's making sure that you keep focused and keep doing the good work. But when those headwinds turn around, the sky's the limit.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Michelle, for those insights and such an incredible thought leadership. We really appreciate it. And thank you everyone who joined us today for this fantastic session. This session, along with all today's content, will be made available on demand following the event. Thank you again, Michelle.
Thank you for having me.